Well, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, because I lost my train.
It's right here.
Okay, it's Tuesday.
Yep.
And that means we're doing a collector's act. Now, we've been talking about the locomotives that were at the gathering of Victorian locomotives.
Right.
And this is not one of them.
No.
And this, again, is one of those engines that we covered in a very early show when we were just holding it in our hands up in the attic and saying, look at this neat brass engine. But if it looks suspiciously like the Glenbrook, it's because it is suspiciously like the Glenbrook. Just as the previous 1875 Baldwin 440 is almost identical to the Eureka and Palisade number 4.
Right.
This Baldwin 1875 Mogul is almost exactly the same as the Glenbrook, because one 1875 Baldwin Mogul is pretty much the same as another. The difference being the paint job.
Ah.
And as you can see, this is a much more generic paint job. But unlike the previous brass engine, this one actually has a paint job.
Right.
This was the second brass engine that Accucraft made. And again, it was when they were doing ostensibly 1/2 inch scale, which actually scaled out to be 122.5 scale, the LGB G scale. This is actually G scale, where subsequently they switched over to F scale, 120.3 scale, as everyone else did over time. Anyway, so it's a little small if you run it with your other equipment. It's a small locomotive to begin with,
Right.
so there's that. But boy, does it look good.
It looks sharp.
And it looks good pulling 1/2 inch scale
Right.
equipment, which is why I guess they marketed it as a 1/2 inch scale. And it looks good pulling G scale stuff.
It does.
Because it is G scale.
It's just neat.
And so it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's just flat a cool locomotive. I think it's a better model than their first one. Every
yeah.
model they made was subsequently a little bit better. You can see that it actually has the cab and cab detail, and a lot of things
Yes.
are identical to the other model.
Right.
But they're good. And actually this has a little more detail, just a little bit more going for it
Right.
than the other one. Of course, we'll take it in there and run it and see
Yeah, see what
how it
happens.
compares in terms of operation. But if, again, I bought this because I wanted a model of the Glenbrook.
Right.
No one made a model of the Glenbrook. Subsequently, Bachmann did, but that was years later. But this was going to be. But when you start trying to think of what it would take to repaint this as a Glenbrook,
It takes some some work.
One thing I've just never had a whole shelf full of is round to it. And so I just never got round to it.
And then he met me.
We get around to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this
Both
was,
of us came complete with a set of projects.
Our to-do list is 10 times bigger than our to-done list.
Yes.
But that's okay. And it's a beautiful engine. And just like the other one, I've never run it. And now that we have a railroad, I'm going to take it in there and run it.
Right,
So
because you can.
Let's see what it
see what it
does.
does.
Let's put power to it. Well, it runs.
It does.
It runs rather nicely.
Wow.
Look at her go.
That's cool.
It's always nice to get a pleasant surprise taking something up and down the track and finding out that
It works.
it actually goes up and down the track. So check this out. There it is.
It's going.
That's a pleasant, I don't know if I would call that a pleasant surprise. You would expect that when you buy something that it would actually run.
Well, it's like watching one of your children take off on foot for the first time. Not in a car, but on foot. When they learn to walk and you go, oh yes, they're going to go so many places.
And then you realize they're cars.
Yeah.
Well, this worked out well. And so periodically, it's one of those things. I may actually decal this as a Rio Grande because it's a similar paint job. I'm debating. I might just try to find some Colorado railroad that actually ran similar colors and give it. If not, just put some big old numbers on the side, because that's what early locomotives had. Was just big old numbers on the side. And Florence and Cripple Creek, I don't know just what Rio
Toyman
Grande.
television. It could have a rocket.
Toyman television. But I want to detail this out.
Yeah.
And we'll just run it.
Yeah.
Because dang,
Yeah.
it's a good runner.
That's right.
And it weighs as much as the shelf that it's sitting on. Anyway, there it is. So Accucraft's second brass engine, also done to 22.5 scale.
Right.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, pop over to the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, here comes the blue button. Are we ready? Zoink. Right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will see you on Sunday.
Right.
Because we got something fun planned.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.